It's my privilege to introduce Jim Owens. He is the chairman and CEO of probably one of the greatest companies in the world. If you have seen the color yellow, and wherever there's construction, there's Caterpillar. Jim, welcome.
Dean, thank you. That's a terrific introduction. I'm very proud to be associated with Caterpillar now for 37 years. So it is a great company, mainly because we've got great people all over the world.
Thank you. I want to ask you, it's a huge organization, and there are, other great organizations throughout the world. They're all facing the pinch of the current financial crisis. I wanted your general take on the economic scenario throughout the world and the challenges.
Well, this has been an extraordinarily challenging period, as I mentioned in my remarks tonight. In my short tenure as chairman, so I'm finishing my 6th year now as chair of Caterpillar and CEO. In the 2004 through 6 period, we had the absolute best period of global GDP growth since World War II. Heavily driven by India, China, the other emerging markets, and the emergent middle class in those economies, now getting up to critical mass, driving a lot of demand for commodities around the world, and kind of the virtuous circle of commodity demand and prices creating income for these countries and allowing them to invest more and raise their standard of living. So a very interesting and exciting time. And for our company, we grew from about a $20 billion company, which had kind of plateaued at that level, post-Asian crisis economic challenges, to very explosive growth. We went over 51 billion last year. So we were up over 150% in 4 years. There were some inefficiencies certainly in managing growth that sharply, but I think our global team did a really good job. Then we hit 2008 fourth quarter, Lehman Brothers collapses, global credit markets literally turn upside down. We had in some cases 3-year order backlogs for large capital equipment that literally, it was virtually all canceled. So we will see in 2009 the biggest 1-year correction in our sales and revenues in the history the modern history of the company. Since 1938, when we were a pretty small company, we had a bigger percentage drop. So this is really uncharted water. But we'd done a lot of work strategically to prepare the company to manage a downturn. We didn't expect it to be quite this big, but nevertheless, we had division by division very strategic plans as to how to reduce cost. We're heavy capital goods, so that's a challenge. But this could be maybe our best year of executive leadership and management performance in the history of the company.
I want to take your focus to the emerging markets, and since we are at the Pan IIT conference, I want to take it to India and see the potential, because India started liberalizing, as you know, under the current Prime Minister when he was the finance minister in the early 90s.
I'm a great admirer, you might know, of your Prime Minister Singh. He's, of course, an economist, right, and a correctly thinking economist, I believe. So he's done a terrific job of steadily opening the economy to international competition.
I'm sure there are opportunities for you in India. I just wanted you to elaborate.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, we're very excited about what India is doing now to build out, if you will, its infrastructure for growth. It's always had a great educational system, and IIT is at the forefront of that. But it's now, and its IT sort of bandwidth and capacity, leveraging that intellectual capability and resource and exporting both technology, software, and services around the world has been spectacular. Now we see India investing heavily in physical infrastructure and a better transport, road, rail, port type structure that positions India to compete in the world marketplace, and more open to foreign direct investment. We have increased our manufacturing investment in the country substantially in the last couple of years. We bought out our joint venture partner, who really wasn't in the heavy diesel engine business, in Bangalore, and we have significantly expanded our investment there, and we're building now world-class engines, not only for the Indian domestic market, but for export of these large engines in the region. And we have completed an acquisition of our licensee relationship in Chennai. We will really double down our investment there. In fact, we're in the process of investing close to $100 million in country. So free trade, open markets, very important to us. And India is going to be an integral part of our Asia-Pacific manufacturing theater.
Taking cue from your earlier point in your speech, you mentioned the trade and India's role in the WTO. I wanted to ask you why trade and why to this audience?
Well, one of the biggest concerns we have corporately right now, and I have professionally as an economist, is that in this economic cyclone that we're currently in, this horrific recession that we're dealing with on a global scale, a lot of countries are turning more inward and more nationalistic, more protectionist. And as President Clinton mentioned in his speech, I think trade is really a great example of something that's win-win. And I am very concerned that most of the steps taken by both the United States and other countries, many of the G20, in the post-Lehman Brothers collapse and economic cycle downturn has been protectionist-oriented, nationalistic-oriented. It's been buy America, buy India, buy China. And that's not the kind of world that's going to create the most opportunities for citizens all over the world. India, I think, has a key and pivotal role to play in helping forge a new a trade round of negotiations. The Doha round, India, Brazil, South Africa, other countries took a leadership role in the emerging market theater in that negotiation. There's plenty of blame to go around, all the way around. But what I wanted to encourage IIT graduates to think about is how critically important it is that we continue this long march towards progressive trade liberalization and openness in a global economy that really helps lift the citizens of all the countries of the world. President Clinton did a great job of talking about opportunity. We know that at least a couple 100 million people have been lifted out of abject poverty on the backs of a better and more open trading environment in the last decade or two. And there's more of that opportunity before us. So I really wanted to encourage, I practice what I preach. I'm in Washington frequently working on our administration to be more open. I tell them, I can give you a worse tractor at a higher price if you want to protect me, but I think you ought to force me to compete. I'll give you a better machine, a better price, my customer will be happier, and I'll be a better company in the long term.
One of the great things about India and Indian institutions, of course, IIT and the alumni of IIT, they have made great strides, not just in academics, but in professionalism and entrepreneurship. Wanted your interaction and your take on IIT alumni.
Well, we have, we think at least on the order of 50 IIT alumni working for Caterpillar in the United States. Perhaps more importantly, and they've made great contributions. In fact, 3 of our top 200 executives in the world are IIT graduates, and I've had the opportunity to work with all 3 of them personally, and I know they've made great contributions to our corporate success. One of those 3 and now is heading up our design center in Chennai, and we have a partnering relationship with the university, with IIT Madras, Chennai. And we're working on simulation work to design new design concepts for mining trucks, and that program is working very well. So we couldn't be more pleased with the partnering relationship we've developed with the university, which allows graduates to do intern work with us while they're still in their study phase, and hopefully allows us to attract more of the outstanding graduates coming out of that institution into our Caterpillar corporate family.
Jim, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.